I often say this to my team, let's shoot for moon.
There's a rare breed of people who actually have had an exit.
I often say that when you hit the wall, go deep.
You invest in a variety of things, like you invest in health techs, invest in a winery, you invest in a hotel.
There's a vertical knowledge you need, but there are lots of horizontal pieces.
I believe that Amazon was a fantastic idea and a highly scalable business. I just did not believe that Jeff could do it.
Most humans have three stages of life. First stage, we are trying to build. Second stage is we are trying to grow. And third stage of the life is when we are giving back.
Hello and welcome to Inception to Infinity. I'm your host, Anupam Satyasheel, the founder and CEO of Occams Advisory. Today we are joined by Shashi Tripathi. Shashi is a dear friend of mine. He is managing partner of Nurture Growth Fund, where he works across venture capital, hospitality, and real estate investments. Apart from being a pillar of the community he serves, Shashi brings a unique blend of engineering, design thinking, and entrepreneurship. Shashi went to IIT Bombay and MIT Sloan School of Management. Beyond investing, Shashi is the chairperson of the Global IIT 2026 conference in Long Beach, California. It's one of the most anticipated global gatherings of innovators, leaders, and entrepreneurs. It'll take place from April 22nd to April 25th. Today, we will explore his journey from engineering to investing, what it takes to build ecosystems at scale, and how platforms like IIT 2026 are shaping the future of innovation and collaboration. Shashi, welcome to Inception to Infinity.
Thank you, my friend Anupam. It's a pleasure to be here. And I didn't know, I mean, you did so well. You're being kind to make that intro. Thank you.
So, Shashi, let's start with the IIT conference. I know you have been super busy with that. It's probably going to have 2 to 3,000 people, 4 day long event, golf tournament or golf participation, VIPs coming to the event, then entertainment post the event on all 3 days. That seems like a mammoth undertaking. It's like building a business in 3 months. Tell us, how is that coming along and what should people expect from it?
No, thank you, Anupam, for asking that question. I'm super excited to part of this journey, and that around 100 people behind the scene working on this conference. And this is such a unique conference, by the way. As you pointed out, we have a golf. We have two workshops offered by NVIDIA. We have go-to-market strategy. We are offering yoga, high-quality yoga in the morning. We have amazing grand keynotes. Then we have four tracks, and those are artificial intelligence, health and sustainability, investment, so venture capital, private equity, exit planning, and global connect, geopolitical issues. And then on the evening, we have some amazing entertainment. Thursday, Friday, and we are ending it with great closing ceremony on Saturday, April 25th. To name some few speakers across all these four tracks, we have Sadhguru. He himself is coming to open the day, and by the way, he will play the golf on 22nd. Then we have Vinod Khosla. We have Jitu Patel, the president of Cisco. We have CTO of AMD, Mark Papermaster. We have head of AI at Amazon, Vishal. We have Abhishek, the person who was the CEO of recently concluded AI Summit India, which attracted 200,000 people. He himself will be coming. We have Assistant Secretary of Commerce from Trump administration. We have ex-VA Secretary. We have a CEO of Memorial Care from here. We have a Chief Transformation Officer of Kaiser Permanente. We have a managing partner from Goldman Sachs. We have woman from coming directly from New York Stock Exchange. So we have a plethora of very highly intellectual speakers coming. So now, if you ask, what's in it for me to attend the conference? If you are a startup founder, we will have approximately 60 to 100 venture capital. If you're in the zone of raising fund, you get to meet them. You can also attend go to market strategy. If you are in small to medium businesses, we have this amazing 8-hour workshop offered by NVIDIA. You will find AI and tech talent if you're looking to hire. You find potential customers. There's so many healthcare individuals. There's so many financials people. There's so many AI talent is coming in just 3 days of conference. You find that. If you're a really big enterprise company, you still find, because the challenge we are big enterprise are facing is hiring AI talent. We will have unreal tech talent and tech AI individual for you to recruit. So, and then if you like to have fun, we have a lot of fun activity in the evening. If you like meditation and yoga, we have that every day in the morning. If you belong to IIT, by the way, we have many of the IIT directors and deans directly from India coming here. They will get to meet you. So there's something for each and every category of the people in this 2.5, 3 days of conference.
Wow, that's a really, really elite list of highly known and impressive resumes. So tell us a little more about how is preparing for something like this. I know you said the 100 people helping you, but you and I both belong to that rare breed of professionals called entrepreneurs. We ultimately say the buck stops at us. So how is it impacting your professional life, your personal life, running around, getting all these things organized? And I mean, I know apart from the speakers, there are booths, there are events, there are participants, there are sponsors, there are a million things. I have listened to some of your podcasts with people who are attending, and you're being at New York Stock Exchange. How was that experience, and how was
Oh
the
my
experience
God.
overall?
Very nervous. Even having this idea of 8 million people are going to watch that live TV was very nerve wracking. Um, but I'm glad it went well. In terms of preparation, Anupam, I have given everything for this conference. I postponed my second fund launch. Probably in the last 4 or 5 months, I'm working 60, 70 hours on just in this conference. And I'm sharing this vision to our team, those 100 individuals who are working nonstop on this conference to deliver unique and the high value proposition to each and everyone who is attending the conference. I often say this to my team: let's shoot for moon. We may land amongst the stars. And I have never ever compromised on the quality of the conference. And it's quite visible if you go on our website, www.iit2026.org. The amount of the program we have curated, the speaker we are bringing is unreal. It's very unique. So that's where I get the inspiration when I get to talk to people like you and others who are joining this conference, and they inspire me with the team I'm talking, and they are working nonstop. They are bringing value in terms of speaker or sponsor or exhibit. um, I get the inspiration, and we are working very, very hard to make sure that we give each and every aspect of the attendee experience top notch. I mean, we are looking even the minute detail about when you come check in your hotel, you get to check in about the conference in those hotels itself. We are paying attention to even the cups, the food, the speaker, the audio visual, the camera, the exhibition design and flooring. Each and every detail, we want to take it to the notch up. As you may know, this is also 75-year celebration of IIT. So we want to make it really unique and strong delivery to our audience. One thing I just want to also clarify that while this is hosted by IIT, anyone, any professional can attend and any professional can speak, because our goal is to build community. Our goal to bring this high value intellect to our community across globe, and we connect those individuals where their shared mind and shared vision takes this humankind forward. So all these things coming together, Anupam, is very inspiring. Do we have challenges? Yes, we have lots of challenges, by the way. I'm not going to deny, like any startup, when you start a company, you do have challenges. But all this inspiring story I hear overcome those challenges, and we are only 29 days actually ahead. 29 days for the conference starts on April 22nd. So next 29 days going to be even more crazier. But we are looking forward to it.
So your 4 years at IIT Bombay must have left quite an indelible mark for you to go out of your way, stop your second funds to start, and spend close to 6 months working more than full time on making this happen. For our audience, IIT's Indian Institute of Technology is a premier institute out of India, which has produced some of the most remarkable world leaders. I would let you give their names, Shashi, because that honor belongs to you. But apart from the bragging rights of having the CEOs of IBM or Google or Twitter or any of those marquee organizations, I believe that IIT has played a crucial role in shaping India as a country. From a predominantly agricultural country to one of, if not the largest exporter of technology, known for its technological prowess, known for its innovation. And you just talked about the AI summit in Delhi, which had more than 200,000 people attend. I was there personally, and traffic was literally halted. Nobody will go to that part of the city because of how many people were out there.
Mhm.
Those numbers, I mean, 200,000 is a very big number for a summit. India is a country of 1.5 billion people. Now, it has been shaped by IIT in ways beyond what we want to feel on daily basis. It has pretty much formed the economic prospects of India. And if India is betting on becoming one of the top three or two economies in the world in this century, a lot of credit has to go to IITs. So I am saying a lot in this question, but can you tell our audience what IIT actually stands for and how it has shaped you, shaped the country, shaped the general feeling around the world about India's technological capabilities?
Oh my God, that's such a big question. I'll try to peel this. So, as we all know, IIT was first established in 1951. Um, and if I had to pick one good thing our first Prime Minister, Mr. Nehru, did was creating IIT. And his vision about creating the best talent in the world has been very inspiring. And over the last 75 years, um, IIT has produced some amazing talent. And they have not only impacted the local community wherever they are, and they are on global basis, by the way, um, but they have added the value to the country they belong to, they are living right now, or to the world they belong to. You may know Wi-Fi was invented by IITian. Laser was invented by IITian. And look what these two technology alone, how much value they provide to our world. You may also know the current CEO, Mr. Pichai of Google, is IITian. Perplexity, IBM, Zscaler, Palo Alto Network, half of the NVIDIA direct reports, half of direct reports of Satya Nadella, they all belong to IIT. And I would venture to challenge that any tech companies in the world, if you find it, there must be IITian sitting there. Um, and as we often say that IIT is MIT of India, but even harder to get in. When Barbara Walters did CBS 60 Minutes about IIT, you must watch that 60 minute show. And it tells how much harder every kid has to work to even get into IIT. But the output IIT has created over the last 75 years is very, very hard to put into numbers. Part of this conference, Anupam, we are doing this IIT Impact Award, where we have six categories and we are unveiling every day. And we unveiled our first Social Impact Award yesterday. Um, Anil Rajvanshi Padma Bhushan awardee, He has created technology for agriculture in the farmland, which is very deeply, deeply discounted, low cost, has changed roughly 100 million people life. Just one individual. Rizwan Koeta, he is also another awardee, by the way. He created CTS Tech, and then he's leading this healthcare transformation in India. Amazing amount of transformation these individuals have done, and the vision they are setting it forward is just mind-boggling. What I'm inspired by listening all this story and the impact they are creating to our community and on a global stage, just unreal. Potential is even bigger, because part of this conference I got to talk to many of those IIT directors, by the way. And in the India world, IIT directors means the deans of the university here in US, and the kind of vision they are setting forward for our upcoming student. And as you know, India is the youngest country until 2017, 70 in the world. And with that layered vision about what Prime Minister Modi has put forward, he calls it Viksit Bharat. With Viksit Bharat and the vision we are putting through all these IIT system, and then India being youngest country in the world until 2070, if we can layer all those things together, think about the value India and IIT will create into the future. So I'm very inspired.
I realize that we have been talking only about IIT. We need to talk about Shashi as well. I know you as a person who is a professional investor, but I believe and I know that you have had multiple exits from the as an entrepreneur and then even from the investments you have made. So I'll break this question down to first your journey as an entrepreneur. People dream to build a business. People dream to build a business and raise capital. And then there's a rare breed of people who actually have had an exit. You have had three of them. So, what is that you know about building a business that people don't? And what can you tell our audience? Many of them are entrepreneurs who would benefit from learning from one of the best in the business.
I wouldn't call best in the business. I wouldn't even call anything unique about this. As you know, my first one failed. My first startup. I was very young, naive, new to this country, didn't know much, and that's the one failed. But I learned a lot from my first one. In 8 months, I closed my shop, and in that 8 month, I literally got an MBA, because I was selling, I was marketing, I was finance, wearing multiple role. Second, third has the exit. One thing, if you ask me, the advice to the founders: don't give up. And I often say that when you hit the wall, go deep. What I mean by that, everyone in life will have a challenge, Anupam. Doesn't matter who you are, you will have challenge. It's the defining moment of you when you how do you solve that challenge, and go dig deep. Go as detailed as you can when you there's a challenge. Do not give up. Um, be confident about what you're building. Be passionate about what you're trying to build, and believe me, passion will attract some good people. If your mindset in the right place, if your heart is the right place, there are going to be people who is going to be supporting and helping you. And that's exactly what happened to me. Over the years, I have met some professionals, some individuals out of nowhere. Anupam, they came and helped. So that's the advice I will have. Do not give up. And the life of entrepreneurs is hard. It's very hard. One day you wake up and you get one small good news and you're happy, and very next day you're solving how to pay accounts payable for your employees. Because that's the start of life. You have to worry about every day of surviving. So that's the advice I would have, Anupam, for a startup founder.
So we hear this, right? Don't give up, keep going. If you're going through hell, go faster. Those words are words.
Mm-hmm.
What is the inner dialogue that you were having when your first startup blew up, or when you actually hit a wall, as you say, go deeper? Now, again, the words are only words, but for someone to actually go through it, what is that you're telling yourself? What is that our audience they can tell themselves in those moments? Something which will be beyond just keep going, because you need a deep conviction, you need a deep commitment, you need the confidence that they can make this happen, and not
Yes,
everybody has that. So what's the inner communication?
it's a tricky balance, Anupam. I mean, my first one failed and I gave up. So you will say, why didn't you give up? Why didn't you keep going on the first one? Because I made the calculation and I saw it will be very hard for me to carry on based on the financials, based on the product, and based on the vision. But second and third, also, I had lots of challenges. But I had this deep conviction, and deep conviction has to come in you. And I know it sounds cliche, but it's not. When you believe into a problem you're solving, um, and you have this passion, and you're willing to give up everything for that passion, it's like you had your first baby, and let's say your baby needs a food, and the food costs $20, but you have $10. What do? Baby has to survive, by the
Whatever
way.
it,
So go fight it. Find that $10 somewhere to feed the baby. And by the way, it's not over, because next day again, baby is going to be asking food. So you have to find $20 again after you found the $10. Um, so that's the mentality the startup life is. It's not easy. But what I will also tell you is, once you go through this life, this journey, there's nothing like this in the world. It's such a rewarding and fulfilling. Even if you make small bit of money. I mean, yes, there are startups who have made billions, but even if you made some money, it's not the money, it's the journey you went through, with whom you went through, the challenges you face, and how you solved through it. All that comes into the picture. So it's the passion you have to go. When you start a problem, by the way, take time. When you are going to solve a problem, take time. Don't jump onto it. Ask 10 friends, ask two or three potential customers. Hey, I have this problem I'm trying to solve. Would you take it? And if they say answer is yes, but then the next follow-up question is, can you take it at the $100 or $50, whatever you think in your mind customers should be willing to pay, and look for the answer you're getting it. Also, be ready for open to detour. Many startup go through detour option. When you bring the venture capital or the co-founder on your cap table, or your founding team, listen to them. VCs typically are good ones. They are investing money in you to make sure you grow, and their returns the money. So be open to ideas and suggestions in terms of detouring your product or strategy, or any aspect of the business. So those are some of the thinking I have, Anupam.
so let's switch to the post exit life. Most people have a linear path. They either get into a certain expertise as a job or as an entrepreneur, and they stick to it. I mean, they call it stick to the knitting, right? What you're good at. It seems that you've deliberately chosen to diversify your career path. So from being an entrepreneur, you became an investor, and seemingly a pretty good one. But I've also seen that you invest in a variety of things. Like you invest in health techs, you help invest in a winery, invest in a hotel. Now, the skill set required to evaluate a health tech is quite different from evaluating a winery. Now, you may have a crystal ball, which you haven't shared with me yet. But outside that, how do you make sense of these decisions? Like, what is your criteria of how do you decide where to invest?
Yeah, it's a very good question, Anupam. I think my startup experience has helped me a lot. Um, and as a startup founder, you have to learn financials, by the way. If you're a co founder, especially the CEO, you cannot survive. without learning finance. And when I say finance, the detail, P&L, revenue, expense, accounting, payment, cap table, valuation, all this you have to know about it. And somehow or other, I got a very strong inclination learning finance. And I'm not a finance guy, by the way. My bachelor's is mechanical engineering. But I got an inclination towards the finance. Um, so any investment I have made, at the end of the day, there is a vertical knowledge you need, but there are lots of horizontal pieces. The revenue has is same whether it's binary or it's software. Expenses are same, P&L is same, accounting is same. So that horizontal knowledge I bring at a very detailed and deep level. And I go monthly, like in case of software in my investment, I often ask for last 12 months of P&L and I look for the MRR. So how is your monthly revenue is going, at what speed? Then I look for the gross margin. I look for net profit. Most of the early stage companies are not profitable. So you have to look for those angles which are giving the clue for the growth. Um, and yes, winery and real estate is the last 1 year I have taken risk. Time will tell how they operate and they come along. But the common principle is finance. Investment is all about financials. A lot of people say it's the strategy, and yes, those things matters. Team, yes, those matters. But finance will tell you a lot. If you're going to make an investment in any area, by the way, especially private investment, not public market, um, look for last 12 months of revenue. Go deep. Look for monthly last 12 months of revenue. How is the revenue going? How is the expense? How is the MRR growing? What is the different buckets of expense line? How is G&A doing? Look for detail. And that will give you a lot of clarity and a lot of information about the business. That's the one thing if I can tell any investment you're making. Um, and
So, outside the numbers, whenever I have spoken to investors and I'm talking about some of the best names in the world, they talk about the human element.
Mhm.
It's a bet on the entrepreneur as
Mhm.
much as the business.
Mhm.
Like Warren Buffett famously said that when Jeff Bezos went to him with Amazon in early 90s, he said no to him. Of course, in hindsight, we all know what happened. But when he was asked years later, he said, I saw the business. I believed that Amazon was a fantastic idea and a highly scalable business. I just did not believe that Jeff could do it. Now, he's saying it after Jeff Bezos was worth $200 billion, probably
Mhm.
wealthier than Warren Buffett himself.
Mhm.
But the point is that how important is that? Is it 50-50? Is it 70-30? Or is there something else you have to look into? How crucial are the people running the show, not the numbers themselves?
People are very, very important, by the way. Right after the financial, I'll place almost equal value. Um, and as I said in my comment earlier, how good the CEO is aware about the all aspect of the company, the product, the finance, the team, the strategy. Very, very important. And then what team member the CEO has underneath, how much passion they have, how much they believe in the product, what kind of skill set they have. Because as I said earlier, any startup will have challenge. And when challenge comes, where do you go? You and your team. And if your team is not passionate and they are not skilled enough, and if you are not making important decisions early on, you're doomed. In my case, when I do my final decision, my due diligence process is very strict. But the first step is finance because finance tells me how the company operates doing, and then I go to the team. Then I ask for customer feedback. Then I of course talk to the founders. I ask to another investor. Then we have 10 points we evaluate against. So I will place team very, very high. One other aspect I have noticed with at least my portfolio, the CEOs who are willing to listen are more successful than those who are adamant and proud. about their baby. Yes, this is your baby, and you can be proud and you should be proud, but not at a point where you're not willing to listen. Especially your investor, because they have really vested interest for you to grow. Listen to them, respond back, be moldable, be coachable. Um, so all my portfolio companies, those who are coachable, those who are learning, those who are humble, are doing better than those who are not. Um, so I would say it's pretty important, Anupam.
So if one were to think about a cheat code and say it's an A level entrepreneur and B level enterprise, and the other way around, are you suggesting I'll go with an A level enterprise and B level entrepreneur, or the other way around?
So you are asking if I would invest into A level entrepreneur or B level enterprise. Is that the question you're asking?
So the combination, let's say scenario one, you have a person who has a phenomenal entrepreneur, has a blazing track record, but now is working on an idea which is not A grade. In your ranking, it's the B grade idea. On the other scenario, you have an A grade idea, but the entrepreneur at helm is not that exceptional. So essentially, I'm trying to find in your ranking, is it the person or is it the enterprise, which is more important?
I would not invest in both. I would find great idea and great founder. Those two are equally important.
And that probably explains why you're so successful as an investor. So, moving on to your other passions in life, I do know that you invest a lot of time in the community. IIT is just one example, but you have been involved with TAI, you have been involved with other nonprofits and social causes. So, outside making wealth and keeping wealth and being a family man, what are some of the causes that you support and for which your heart beats?
Yeah, I mean, I love Guy Kawasaki. By the way, we all know who he is, and he said this thing when I podcast with him. Most human lives, most humans have three stages of life. Um, the first stage we are trying to build. Second stage is we are trying to grow, and third stage of the life is when we are giving back. And third stage, Anupam, is hard, by the way, but once you go there, extremely rewarding and fulfilling and happy. So when I one of the question you asked earlier about, I gave roughly 1 year of my time on this IIT. Yes, it's a volunteer work. Yes, I don't get paid, but the amount of satisfaction and the gratitude and the people I connect, I don't think so. I would have got even someone would have paid me $10 million, for example. So in terms of what causes I support, I'm a big believer in entrepreneurship. I have seen the hard life. Um, I'm getting goosebumps even sharing that because it is a hard life. Most people see the success; they don't see the hard pain they went through. When I closed my first shop, I was in deep pain. So I do support entrepreneurship a lot. So that's why I joined Thai. Even today, if any startup founder they reach out, I meet. Even I may not be investing, I do meet. I do provide comments, feedback. In general, human I support education a lot. My father was a teacher. I would say who I am today, one aspect is education. As you know, in India, education is very, very prevalent. And I often say that if one human being is educated, on average, they are improving the life of six people around them. That's on average, by the way. So if we can educate someone, a kid especially, that kid probably going to impact six lives around that kid, and then that six, if they do, is multiplied. So I'm a big believer into kids education. So I do sponsor kids around education. So those are the areas I'm passionate at this stage of my life.
So, talking about satisfaction outside work, you also are a very hands on parent to a teenager and soon to be a 10-year-old child. The children in today's times are living through a very highly evolving education and technological landscape. What is your message to your kids and other parents? How do they prepare their children for what is coming their way? We hear a lot about widespread job losses, systemic unemployment, and AI taking over all white collar jobs. Even in the most conservative, as in conservative favoring human being scenarios, the systemic unemployment is projected to be in double digits.
Hmm.
So, what is that you are training your kids on, and what is that you would tell other parents to think and tell their kids?
Yeah, it's a very important question. I think the modern generation of parents are facing, not me alone. I'm sure you have two kids. You're facing the same issue. One thing I tell my daughter Siona, she is 15-year old. She goes to sophomore high school. Um, is all this data and number and computer? Yes, all this will eventually be replaced by AI. What will not be replaced by AI is the relationship building, is the cognitive ability. And yes, to some extent, AI can go into the cognitive area also because that's where a lot of AI thinkers are thinking. But the 100% of cognitive ability of human, in my view, will be harder. So think critical. Critical thinking is important. Um, Relationship building is important. So go into education system where you're broadening and you're deepening, and I repeat myself, broadening and deepening your mind. If those pieces are there in your brain, everything else can you can adopt.
So, going a step further into that, there are people and kids, many of them in today's generation, they find it very difficult to go out and talk to somebody. We are dealing with a national crisis of teenagers and people in 20s and 30s, and I've heard even in 40s, living in their parents' basement and living a digital life, just doing Uber Eats and not even being able to step out and hold a decent conversation. To your experience and estimate, how big is that crisis, and how will your advice work for people who just are incapable of building relationships?
Yeah, it's a big problem, Anupam. Um, I think with the invent of AI, with so much automation, um, we are moving into a society where we are less and less communicative to other human being. And at the end of the day, this world is about human being, not about AI, not about technology. And if you cannot communicate, and if you cannot interact, and if you cannot create a bond or relationship or communication or deal between Anupam and Shashi, then what's the point? So it's a really big problem, Anupam. How to solve is be conscious about it. It's a hard problem to solve, by the way, because I have two kids in my own home. We have bought this app where we control their time on social media on their devices, but still harder. They do go quite a bit. Engage them into exercise with you, engage them on walking out, take them on tours and trips where they are stay away. And once they see the value of staying away from device, then they will start to incorporate those small habits and change towards engaging with the parents, their friends, the community, society. And I often say this to Siona and Kian both: focus on those aspects, because once you're dealing with devices, this device is a one-way communication, am I right? Because device is giving what you want to hear. Device is not giving what you don't want to hear. And real world is not like that. Real world will have conflict. So if you don't go deal with the real world, you will be placed very harder on how to deal outside and how to communicate. So stay away from device as much you can and try to focus on two-way communication versus one-way communication.
So, with the situation of your guidance that people should build relationships and they should focus on that, and there's a trend that uh, teenagers and others are not being able to do that. It might be a little outside your area of expertise, but we also, as a world, are we're facing the difficult prospect of declining population in most countries. You just said earlier that India is the youngest country for next 44 years. That says something about what other countries are not doing right or doing wrong. Is there, in your economic understanding of the world, is there any real global macro problem that we are going to run into because of not having enough people? Like Elon Musk keeps saying that we need to have more people than what we have. What's your views on those?
Yeah, I mean, some country, by the way, already facing that problem. I don't know. I'm sure you know, Japan is facing that pretty
China is facing that.
significantly. And you can see the impact, by the way. Japan is declining, and that's not the only reason Japan is declining, but that's one of the reason. Population is declining, and I think with the invent of AI and data and technology, we are so ingrown into deep one-way communication. We are forgetting and giving time about what God created us to do. um, but I also believe Anupam cycle repeats, and God and nature always have ways to um, constrain human society if we do extreme things. So I believe at some point of time in the next 40, 50 years, maybe after I have gone, nature and God will put something where we start to focus and value more human relationship. But it's a problem. What's the solution? I don't know.
So we're coming up towards the end of our conversation. We have a beautiful tradition that we ask people who are on the podcast to leave a question for the future guests, and it's random. And then you get to answer one of the questions that somebody else left, not knowing who is it going to go to.
Okay.
It's interesting, it's on the topic that we are having. And this is a bit of a thought twister. So here's how it goes. If the next generation entering the workforce today will likely hold jobs that don't exist yet, so jobs yet to be created, what is one thing we are teaching them that we should just stop teaching? So, in the context of jobs yet to be created, what is the one thing that we should stop teaching people that we're teaching right now?
That's a very good question. What is one thing we are teaching we should stop teaching?
When this person gave the question, I was chuckling because I knew it's going to be pretty challenging for someone to take on.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
happened to be a good luck that you got this question.
I know, I know. I think the basic transactional knowledge we are teaching today, in my view, in 20 25 years, that will go away. When
So
I
knowledge
say
is a commodity, it's going to get obsolete because LLMs will be able to produce that. So don't worry about accumulating knowledge.
correct, yeah. And I also feel that universities should focus more on cognitive, and there should be a course about communication. That should be a mandatory course, in my view. Um, so replace that transactional system knowledge with communication, cognitive ability, um, relationship building, communication. So that would be my answer, Anupam.
So you got me thinking about something else. We should stop teaching children knowledge. We should teach them thinking and approaching things with a problem solving mindset or a hypothesis building mindset. But schools are not doing that yet. Schools are not teaching them communication. They're not teaching them finance, from what I see. There are other important things like sexual education, which schools are not teaching. So, as a parent, what is your view on the current education system? I can tell you my side that I'm rather appalled by the lagging nature of education systems in this country and everywhere else. I can't say everywhere else, but most countries that I know about. Um, how do you evaluate that, and what do you think is holding them back from transforming themselves to today's times?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I agree that current education system needs to change. And as I said earlier, part of this conference, I spoke to many IIT directors. They're already thinking about it. The university which sponsors our conference, by the way, Rishi Hood University, and the two co-founders from IIT are creating a complete new curriculum about thinking future. So it's a problem. Some parts of the world is thinking, but many parts of the world is not. But one thing I know, in 10, 15 years, they will be forced to, because at the speed at which things are changing in front of our eyes. If they don't, then they will be obsolete.
And on this topic, do you think that AI and AI agents have a better shot at customizing education for individual needs?
100%. 100%. But it cannot replace the teacher and professor completely. It can augment. If university is designing a program purely 100% taught by agent, is a mistake in my view. It has to be augmented to a real human being. Because remember at my earlier conversation, relationship building, communication, even the way you move your head and eyes and lips is very, very important. It's very, very hard for AI to replicate the human mind and human behavior.
So finally, it's your turn to give a question for the next guest.
Um,
Hopefully, it's less difficult than the one you got.
I would say, I mean, world right now is facing some immense challenges around what's going on at geopolitical level. I mean, you see a shift in our policy in US, our relationship to Europe, to China, and the power struggle is happening as we speak right now. Um, where any guest you invite, where do they see the geopolitical landscape going to look like in 10 years? I mean, right now, the economic ranking is US, followed by China, Germany, India now taking over the fourth place in terms of at least the GDP. What will be the power ranking in 10 years?
It's a good guess for anybody, and I'm happy to give you my 2 cents. But
Please do.
you didn't ask me the question,
Please do.
and hopefully, the team will find somebody who's an expert on geopolitical matters and ask them that question. But I'm sure it'll be quite a different landscape than what we have today.
Yep. No, I agree. Our IIT conference is from April 22nd to 25th. Our website is iit2026.org. Please go on the website, register, come join us in beautiful SoCal in Long Beach, California. I cannot wait. I'm very excited to welcome all of you in Long Beach from April 22nd to April 25th. Thank you, Anupam, for having me here.
Of course, Shashi, and for the people who can't travel in, is there a Zoom option or is it only in person?
This is only, unfortunately, in person event.
Which is consistent with the belief that people should meet in person to build relations.
Exactly right.
We should encourage. So, people, as you heard, do attend the IIT conference. We will be there, both Shashi and me. And anybody coming in, of course, gets the free advice from Shashi on how to build a business. Well, Shashi, it was a great pleasure having you here. Before you leave, where do people find you?
um, my LinkedIn is there. My email, shashi at nurturevc.com. That's my email address. But LinkedIn is the best way. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn.
And of course, as you said, all aspiring entrepreneurs are welcome to reach out to you to get your
So
guidance.
typically, I respond. Typically, I will give you time to meet at least. And if the idea is good, I will invest.
Excellent. It is such a pleasure to have you, Shashi. Thank you for being here. To our audience, this was a wonderful experience and a lot of learning for me. Please subscribe to our channel for such wonderful content and keep listening to Occams Advisory's podcast, Inception to Infinity.